Proper Football Live Show. Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and PF Radio. Check out our website at properfootball.co.uk.
Right, good evening. It's that time again. It's Sunday at 6 o'clock and it's Proper Football Live with, of course, Nigel. And our very special guest this week is Mr. Steve Sherwood himself. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Gary.
Good. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. Absolute pleasure. And wow, the timing, the fact that you played quite a few games for the Mariners at Grimsby. We will be talking about all that and the FA Cup shortly, but a quick one before I go to Nigel to see how he's been this week. It's now 4-0. Liverpool 4, Manchester. Oh, hang on. 5. What's going on?
Didn't see that coming.
No. So, literally, thank you, Ben, who's just let us know that's 5-0 now. Mine, you're quicker than me because my phone's just clocked up 4. 5-0. Nigel, how you been? And what do you make of that result?
I don't know. You couldn't have predicted that one, could you?
Wow.
I mean, I don't think anybody would have predicted that. But I've got me holiday background in it today because I've not had a holiday for about 4 years. So
does it make you feel good? Is it like
a few people that I'm having a good time?
You're going to go and have a dip in the pool later?
Yeah, straight through the windows.
5-0. Oh my! I'm guessing Arsenal and Man City fans are breathing a sigh of relief. With Man United seem to be hot on their heels there. Wow, 5-0. Look, I'll tell you what, still 15 minutes to go as well. I'll tell you what we're going to do. For those of you who, especially younger generation, don't know Steve. Steve starts his career. We will go a little bit into your career, Steve. You started at Chelsea. Then you had a couple of loan spells, went to Watford, Grimsby.
Brentford.
Brentford on loan for a season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I held a record at Brentford until Dean Henderson broke it.
Oh, wow.
Sheffield United, I played 62 games on loan for Brentford, which at the time was a record for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you started with Chelsea in the 70s, didn't you?
Yeah. I was all them stars there. We had to ask if we could go in the dressing room.
No.
Yeah. I remember being told to wash the baths out as an apprentice.
Yeah, don't have no more, mate.
Walking straight in there, and Peter Osgood saying, "Did you ask to come in here?"
Mate, yeah, not anymore, mate. They asked you want a Lamborghini or a Bentley.
Yeah.
You know, not wash the boots or look after the changing rooms or whatever. But no.
Yeah, well, you talk about Grimsby. I went to Grimsby from Watford, and they were taking the mickey out of the players, the apprentices at Grimsby. It was totally different there. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about Grimsby in a minute because they've had a fantastic week and a wonderful, wonderful thing for the FA Cup. But obviously, you spent a lot of time at Watford. You also had a little run at Northampton and finished your career at Gateshead, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I finished at Gainsborough Trinity, actually, my career.
Right.
But I fell at Gateshead, yeah.
So
the Northern Premier. I finished my career at Gainsborough Trinity in the Northern Premier League. Yeah.
Wow. And of course, you two played together for a number of years at Watford, through the glory years at Watford.
Yeah.
FA Cup final. We're going to
brilliant.
be talking about the FA Cup shortly. Both of you playing in the same team in 1984. What a day that was. Lifetime of memories.
Yeah.
You must have.
It was certainly different to the usual preparation. Yeah.
I think you was the first person. You was the first goalkeeper to wear a red shirt, weren't you? I think back in the days,
probably.
all the goalies were wearing green shirts.
I used to look like a post box. Yeah, I used to look like a post box, red shorts and red top. Yeah. Red socks.
I think that all came from Graham Taylor's wife said he'd look better in red than he does in green.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, he asked me. I remember he asking me, "What colour do you like best?" And I said green. He says red. You better change that to red because Rita prefers it.
It's a good point though, because you're right. Every goalkeeper wore green, didn't they?
Yeah.
Every goalkeeper. Wow.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly flick over to the comments. Quickly. Okay, so Ben Cliff's on. He's just said, good weekend for me. Kidsgrove Athletic got a good away point at Bootle. 5 unbeaten now, and Stoke got a fantastic win. I was shocked at that one. I must admit, Stoke going to Sunderland and beating them 5-1. Alex O'Neill got so much abuse before and during the game. He stayed very level-headed and was very respectful. Superb win. Absolute amazing win for Stoke. That Sunderland really riding high as well. Playoff positions. So, yeah, quite a surprise, that one, I must admit. Mark Gray, when you coming out with us? I don't know who that's directed at. Is that directed at me?
Mark Gray.
Okay.
Don't ring any bells with me, Gary.
No, I think it means when are you coming out?
Oh, no, mate. I'm firmly in the closet. Right. Right. Let's talk FA Cup. Now. Obviously, the wonder of the FA Cup. We're going to talk like we normally do and have a little bit of a pop and wonder why the FA Cup isn't what it used to be. And there's some great stats that I come across in the week, but we'll come on to them in a little bit. But let's just talk about Grimsby. Obviously, one of your ex-clubs. I think 189 appearances for Grimsby you had, if my stats are right.
Yeah.
It
was two promotions, one relegation. So I had ups and downs there. Yeah.
What an amazing!
So it was a fantastic experience. A very good manager in Alan Buckley.
Yeah.
Totally different to Graham Taylor because it was.
Graham Taylor started his career at Grimsby, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he played at Grimsby as fullback.
He played there. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, what an absolute stunning win for them. I mean, 4 non-Premiership sides into the quarterfinals. We're guaranteed a non-Premiership side into the semi-finals. The draw being Man City versus Burnley. Let's touch on that one. Wow, that's going to be a cracking game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Guardiola and you've got his
protege.
His ex-captain. He's learned everything off Guardiola, and
they're playing amazing football.
Yeah, he seems to be putting it into Burnley. So
yeah,
manager and mentor. That's going to be a great game.
That is going to be cracking, that one, and Burnley getting that win. Man United against Fulham. I think that's pretty much run-of-the-mill standard cup game. Brighton versus Grimsby. Wow! Oh, it's 6-0. What is happening here? No,
have they had somebody sent off or something?
I don't know. I'll check that in a minute. But
you know what? I think Grimsby have done brilliant, and it's been a great run for them. But I can't see any way they're going to beat Brighton.
Brighton are having such a good season.
Again, Southampton are a club in a bit of disarray, aren't they? Where Brighton are totally opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you've got, even at this stage of the cup, I still think some of these teams are being disrespectful to the teams they're playing. They're leaving players out, and they got punished for it this week for playing weakened sides. They think we're playing Grimsby, we'll stick same thing.
Let's face it, Cally, though, they're Premiership players. Even if they're not in the team, they should be able to put on a better performance than what they did against Grimsby.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Steve, you know that if Grimsby plays Southampton 10 times, they'll probably lose 9 times and win once.
Yeah.
So that's what the FA Cup does. It creates a shock result. There is that one game where, 6-0 Liverpool, who'd have predicted that? But there is that thing where I do think these Premiership teams are still taking a piss. They've been disrespectful to the playing, and they've been disrespectful to the fans. All right, You know,
exactly.
They're playing
it's a
money.
marvellous competition
to get to the cup finals. They want to go to a cup final.
Yeah.
So it's again, I think they're getting what they deserve. Like, some of them teams have lost the only chance they've had of getting a bit of silverware by getting knocked out.
For instance.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you some stats before we just touch on that last fixture that's in the quarterfinals. But with what you're saying there, I've got some stats here that are pretty shocking when you consider maybe why Premiership clubs some take it seriously, some don't. So the winners of the FA Cup final will get £2 million if they win the cup final. Yeah. For qualifying for the Champions League, you initially get 15.6 million just for qualification, right? And then that goes on that every game you win in the Champions League, you earn this is in euros. Apologies. So, it ain't that much difference these days, is it? But anyway, in euros. So, the Champions League, each time you win a game, you get 2.8 million. Right? So, you could say almost £800,000 for winning a game over winning the FA Cup, for winning one group game. If Spurs beat Milan next week, it's worth £10.6 million to them. And that makes you then wonder, why do they not play their best players, and are they not interested in our domestic cups anymore? Because
it's a fact that we're ignoring one point here. It's a fact that they're disrespecting their fans. Listen, some of them fans might not be able to pay to go to AC Milan. Some of them have never been to Wembley. They want the cup final. So it's disrespectful to the fans that are paying good money.
I completely agree with you.
To pay for tickets to go and watch a pile of crap that couldn't be bothered about it. And that's the worst thing about it. And I think, it's correct what you're saying about the money. There's more money in the Champions League and stuff like that. But at the same time, by leaving players out and playing a weakened side, there's still no guarantee you're going to qualify for Europe. And I'm pretty sure Brighton have one eye on maybe getting into Europe, but at the same time, they haven't won anything for ages, so they'll be looking at the FA Cup as something they can win.
And just backing that up, Ben has put that he was at the Stoke Brighton game on Tuesday night, and Brighton did put out a good team, unrespectful and. Yeah, respect to them for that, I think is what he's saying there. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it was a good game. And Brighton did put out a good side, and fair play. Pidge is saying Cally's spot on, mate. Just to let you know, Salah is now Liverpool's all-time leading goal scorer with 129 goals, and just got booked for taking his top off when he scored that goal. One for you, Steve. Steve Sherwood, amazing keeper. One of my dad's heroes, Pidge. You make me feel old.
I hope his dad's still alive, because that'll make me feel older.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
That's great. Them days were unbelievable.
I'm a Watford supporter, actually, Steve.
7-0.
Oh no, it's 7-0.
Jeez.
What?
They will never live that down at Manchester.
That's got to be a record against them.
What is going on?
They will never live that down.
I've got a feeling this show won't take off for another 20 minutes, because everyone's going to be glued to that now, aren't they?
Right.
It's just amazing.
He's a 72-year-old.
Yeah. He's a very young 72-year-old.
Pidge is a top man.
Only 2 years older than you, then, Shirley, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm 69, so he's not far off.
Yeah.
69.
And I mean,
nobody under 50 remembers us now, Kelly, does it? Let's face it.
But and then look, we're just touching on that. We're talking about that, and some of the highlights that in the Watford career you had. Obviously, the FA Cup final, which we're in the middle of talking about, and we must come back to that in a moment. But you had some other highlights there. Was you in the European side?
Yeah.
Out of Kaiserslautern, I was out there in Kaiserslautern. Yeah, and I know Nigel has some memories of Europe. We've just been talking about the 8-0 drubbing of Sunderland. Never forget that. And as much as I've got to go back and finish off the FA Cup, 1984, Highfield Road against Coventry City, the goalkeeper getting a goal. And I can't find any footage of it. So, Steve,
there's no footage of it.
You're going to have to talk us through it, mate.
I've been trying. Well, obviously it's wind assisted. And Cally went through to challenge the keeper, and he just misjudged it. And as Cally says, I think Cally missed the ball and punched Cally in the head by.
I think it was. He wasn't concentrating on the bounce of the ball. I think he just saw me going for it, and
he just kept rushing out, didn't he? Yeah. So, but it's strange. It's a strange situation because, I mean, at least they had a scoreboard so I could see my name on it, and that was weird.
Do you know what?
It really was weird. Yeah.
Do you know what, Steve? It's like you're in a probably elite group of only a few.
There's only very few. Yeah, there's a very elite group. Yeah.
When you think there'd be more, wouldn't you, nowadays, with the lightness of the ball?
Well, you think back
but to be fair, they don't kick the ball out now, do they? They play from the back.
Yeah.
But in a career of a goalkeeper, or any player's career, you know, some players have solid careers, but they've never really got anything outstanding that they can look back on and go, you know, well, I was one of the only players to score a goal as a goalkeeper, and so it's always great to have something like that in your career.
Yeah. Well, I always have a glass of red wine on the 14th of January, Kelly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I remember that. But it's like the John Motson thing, like, you know, with West Ham match where he said a cheeky goal. So everybody goes, man, his cheeky goal with Motson, and it's great when you've got something that you can actually look back on and go, do you know what? I'm in a little group of people that could do that.
Well, you scored some goals, Kelly. I remember the Notts County away.
Yeah,
that was electric finish in that game. That was
goal of the season 3 years out of 4. I got goal of the season for Newcastle, first game of the season.
Yeah,
I got the Man City goal, and I think I got the. I'm not sure whether it's West Brom or Notts County was the other one, but I didn't get many tap-ins.
You didn't.
So I was just pointing out there, Dave. Thank you for that as well. Paul Robinson scored the old Spurs keeper against Watford. So maybe there's a bit of a thing about Watford and goalkeepers scoring goals. Police have been called to Anfield after a possible criminal defending was displayed. Ben Cliff, I saw Asmir Begovic score against Southampton. Great goal. Damo, hello Damo. 7-0, mate. We're probably a little bit in shock, aren't we, with this?
They're probably wondering whether Tony had a bet on it.
Yeah. We're probably.
To be fair, though, I mean, to be fair to Tony, I mean, what's the difference between having a bet as long as you're not backing on your own team? Buying a lottery ticket and having a bet.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, it's not like he could influence the games or anything, is it?
No.
You know, and I heard the argument that in all fairness, I mean, these guys are he's gonna obviously pick up an FD ban, but then, you know, on Saturday or it'd be putting on shirt. They're all putting on shirts advertising betting companies. So it's sort of a little bit hypocritical,
I mean,
isn't it?
To be fair to betting companies, and Sky's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, they put a lot of money into football, don't
they? He's got to be a bit stupid, though. If he's been caught, I mean, even if he's given money to other people to put bets on for him, I mean, come on, the amount of money that footballers are earning now, it's got to be stupid to get caught doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's naive, isn't it? But at the same time, unless he's backing on Brentford's game, I can't see, why it should be treated like a criminal offence.
Well, the thing is, we was talking about this before, Steve, and I think the only people that can really influence a game that much are goalkeepers, referees, or if you're a penalty taker, and you decide, you've got to bet on a 1-1 draw, and you get a penalty in the last minute, and you blast it over the bar. Yeah. So it stays 1-1. It's very hard to get 11 players to fix a match, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think the problem nowadays is that, and I've got a son who has a bet on football, and he tells me that you can have a bet on first player to score, how many corners there are, how many free kicks are in 10 minutes and things like that. And I suppose that could be influenced, couldn't it, a little bit? But to me, if you're not betting on your own team or your own team's game, I don't see, I don't think it's a great idea, but I don't think it's a criminal offence.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think you're right, Steve. It's not maybe the done thing, but to be treated like a criminal for betting money, like you say, in games you're not able to influence, then definitely if he was able to influence a game, you know what I mean, then you're talking criminal sort of fraud or whatever. But to treat him like a criminal wouldn't be the right thing to do. And it's such a shame because he is a cracking good player. A cracking good player. And I really
it's great player to have in your team, isn't he? Because he just wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he?
The shame of it is Brentford, who I am beginning to admire more and more, in the respect that we had an Under the Floodlights show we did on Thursday where we were talking about a new club that's been formed a couple of years back called Dull Square, and it's basically disgruntled Arsenal fans that have feel they're being fleeced by the club for money and stuff, and they went through lots of facts and figures, really interesting. But there are clubs out there that are really taking the mick out of the fans in respect of like 4 kits each year, now. I mean, come on, the amount of money their kits cost as well is ridiculous. And that you've got Brentford, who are, and I say, I'm beginning to admire more and more. They've not put their ticket prices up this year, and they're not going to release a new kit this year. So to try and help people through. Yeah. And they're one of few clubs that have done that, which is a real shame. And what is the real shame about the Tony situation is they're doing all this as a club, which I admire. The club suffers as well over it because they lose their star man, and could lose him for a significant level of time as well. So it will be interesting to see what goes on. Ben Cliff, want to hear what Roy Keane has to say if there's anything left of the studio. My United mates on WhatsApp have been giving me loads of grief for months over Watford. Suddenly they've gone very quiet. 7. Is it over now, by the way? Does anyone know?
Yeah, they're doing a lap of honour like they've won the bloody league.
Man, it's not been a great season for Liverpool, but oh my, haven't they just made up for it? And it means so much, them two sides, doesn't it? The fans, literally, the massive rivalry. That's like a Watford Luton type scenario situation where their club is, even if they don't get into Europe, they beat Man United 7-0. They'll be celebrating for the next 10 years on that.
Definitely.
Without a doubt, So I'm just going to finish off the FA Cup because I missed out them last 2. So Sheffield United, Blackburn, both having cracking results as well in the Cup. And it just, for me, I just love it when I see this. Seeing the underdogs, seeing the lower clubs do well in the Cup, because I think they still, like, the love everyone had for the FA Cup, and you two guys have played in the final. But at the end of the day, the fans, what that used to mean to people was so much.
And now playing on the bench. Was Kane on the bench for that match? Wasn't
he? Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm on about. Disrespectful to teams.
Yeah,
and they got what they deserve.
They win nothing. I mean,
Tottenham might not even get into Europe this year. So they should have been going for that cup.
The thing is, as well, one of the lasting memories I've got is not actually playing football, but walking out at Wembley, and our fans were behind us, and so I could see a sea of blue at first, the Everton fans, and then turning round and seeing all those flags waving.
Yeah.
It's just it's just a fantastic day for the fans. At Wembley, and it's just for all
unbelievable.
Every fan of every club wants to have that day out at Wembley. So I'm with Cally. I think it's criminal that the disrespecting the
the oldest cup competition in the world, and
but it's business now, isn't it? Even when we were playing, it was. Sponsorship was just coming into it, really, with the names on the shirts and all that. And the executive boxes were being built in the stands and that. But it's just gone like all big sports, hasn't it? It's just corporate events.
Yeah, and the money's taken over, and I think it's taken over with a lot of the players. Cally, last week we had Greg Lake on from Billericay Town, and he's putting his money behind the girls there, and he was telling us a story which I opened my eyes a bit, Cally, last week. That one, it really made me think. When he was talking about, we're not going to name the player, but a player was offered 150k to go and play for a London club.
This is a women's play you on about, aren't you?
Sorry, the England
women's play,
women's, but it banged home to me. Something I hadn't really considered before, and like I say, this player went in the end to Chelsea for £300,000 a year, but only to sit on the bench, and it hit me then that I look at the current Watford side, and sorry, I don't really have much time for them. They're players that have no passion. They're not bothered about the club and the fans. All this kissing of the badges rubbish, because they'll go out every other week and just not even try to win a game. They don't put no effort in, and they're going to get silly money whether they win or lose, regardless. And that story Greg told me about the lady, because obviously, unfortunately, maybe some of the bad side of the men's game is creeping into the women's game. They're quite happy not to play football. Now, if a player surely wants, they talk about short career. You want to play football. Yes, money comes into it to anybody's degree, and no one's going to say no to money. But if you are not playing the game you love, back in the day, you'd have put a transfer request in if you were on the bench week in, week out, wouldn't you? And even maybe gone for a bit less money just so that you could play the game that you love and you're good at playing. But I think more and more now the players are not in love with the game; they're in love with the money. The
good thing about that was that the England manager has actually said to that player that
if you're on the bench,
you're not going to be in my side. So that'll be a little kick up the arse.
And applaud for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Cally, can you remember? I mean, when we started at Watford, and that when Graham Taylor first went there, and that, I mean, I used to go down Peter Spivey's sports shop and buy my own goalkeeping gloves. I talk to people about that, and they can't believe we've got our own gear.
We had to pack our own bags for the matches. So, like, you'd have your holdall, your football boots in, your shin pads, your swellies, all that lot. There was no kit man. Skip was carried in probably by the young pros, and that was it. We had to
washed our own training gear. Our own training gear. Yeah, it was just amazing. Really.
The truth of the matter is, though, the players back then were in it because they loved football and they loved playing football. And I'm afraid now, I'm not saying this is about all players. Please don't think that, because I know there are players out there who do play for the love of the game. And I mean, in actual fact, Nathaniel Chalobah is one example of that, who came from Chelsea to Watford for less money because he wanted to play football. You don't see that often. And I think what you're saying there, no one, the players back then, they were on all right money, but nothing spectacular. You had to do a lot of your own graft, buy some of your own kit. The reason you were there, though, is because you wanted to play football and you love playing football. What I'm saying today is there is a level of players, not all, but there is certainly a group, a largest number of players within the elite game that are not there because they love necessarily playing the game. They're there because they love the money. They're probably their old man's beat it into them week in, week out, day in, day out, having them on the wreck to make sure they earn money in Brazil or wherever, and they're a product of almost like a conveyor belt in some of these countries.
Even back in the
play
day,
for money rather than for the love of the
game. The difference between wages at the big clubs and like Watford, we weren't a big club, but we got into the top league.
Yeah.
But we got to the cup final against Everton. Our bonus was a £500 appearance money and £500 win. Everton won 5,000 appearance and 5,000 win.
Oh, in the cup? Yeah.
The cup final. So they were on 10 times as much as we were to win that final.
But you say that about win bonuses, but nowadays they don't exist, do they?
No, they give players. Back in the day, they were saying they were trying to take the pressure off the fact that players needed to win to keep their lifestyle the way it was. So they more or less gave them the win bonus in their contract. So
they win or lose, they will get paid the same.
Yeah, they get the same. I think the only thing they get in bonuses is they get to a cup final. There'll be a pool money, European Cup. There'll be a pool money which will get divided between them. But yeah, as far as the incentives go for winning matches, they don't get that. They get it in the wages. Win, lose or draw.
Yeah,
and crazy.
I think Barnsley, John Barnes. I think did he not go to Liverpool and one season he never kicked a ball and earned a fortune? I mean that's not his fault. But
no.
I think he was saying that he was injured for more or less the whole season. Picked up a ridiculous amount of money for not doing anything, but just doing rehabilitation. So, I mean, there is something wrong in football.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, if somebody had come up to us and said, "We'll give you £5,000 an appearance," we wouldn't have turned it down, Gary.
Oh no, of course you wouldn't. No,
it's just that it was different in those days. It was, you had to earn. You had to go out there and
earn your money.
Be sort of fall off the pitch because if you won a game, it mattered so much to having a decent wage at the end of the month or just having an average wage. So
I'm just going to jump over to the chat room again. Gary Dean, good evening. Man United can't moan about getting thrashed. They've dished out enough of it over the years. Carol Gilmore, money talks. Pidge, Stephen Kelly played with pride back in the day, not money. A lot just play for money now. Yeah, that's just really backing up what I've said, I guess. Ben Cliff, my proudest moment as a Stoke City fan was losing the FA Cup final against Manchester City. I cried so much because I was so proud, not because I was sad. Mate, I could say that Watford have been in 2 cup finals. One of them was the best day of my life, and that was 1984. And one of them was the worst day of my life, and that was, 2017 when we got hammered 6-0 by Man City. Ridiculous. Anyway, Peter Spivey with a laughing face from Carol Gilmore. Ben Cliff, Lewis Baker did the same. He's left Chelsea to come to Stoke because he wants to play football. Yes, and they are out there still. Please don't think I'm tarring all elite players with the same brush. Sonia, good evening, Gary, Nigel Cally and Nigel Callaghan and Steve, great players back in the days. Not me. I was better at rugby. I played a reasonable level of rugby, I got to be honest. And back in the day, I didn't do bad at that. 5-a-side football, 7-a-side, and a little bit of Sunday league football was my limit, Sonia. But I'm glad someone thinks I'm an ex-player. I'm not. I'm a fan.
I think she was on about you as a Subbuteo player.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Love the background picture. Cally. Okay. So yeah, we come back. So look,
that's your back garden, Cally, isn't it? Back garden.
This is a holiday I was hoping I'd have.
Swim in the pool. I'll tell you what I'm going to do at this stage. Let's have a look at folks, as you probably know or seen now, that about every 2 weeks now we're bringing out a little montage of goals from grassroots, lower league, non-league football. We've got a new amount. Keep an eye out. It's on YouTube. The links will go up on our Facebook pages so you can have a proper look at this tomorrow. But here we go. This is the latest edition of Proper Football Goals.
Check out our website at properfootball.co.uk.
Right, there you go. Wow. You know what? I've got to say, right, at the end of the day, them goals, every one of them are worthy of Match of the Day, but you'll never see any of them on Match of the Day. No. That young lad, that young kid at the beginning.
Yeah.
What was that? That was a bit of a Maradona moment, wasn't it?
Binoculars to see that one.
Yeah,
if I talk about the last goal, I think the last goal was a bad cross.
Yeah. It was like that Glenn Hoddle goal against me, Kelly. A bad cross that went in.
I
still think to this day that chip that Hoddle got in against you, Shirley, was a cross as well. But it just happened.
It's a great one to talk about because Tottenham fans still talk about that goal today, and well, a lot of people do. I mean, obviously it was. I mean, didn't win it up for goal of the season or something at one point? Or...
He got goal of the month, yeah.
The best thing about that goal is his turn. Because we had I think he was Dutch, wasn't he? Jan Lohner. Yeah. He was playing in midfield and Glenn Hoddle did a turn on him and Jan went about 3 yards the other way. If you watch that on
back. Let's pay to get back in, Jan.
Yeah, it's one of the goals that when anyone does anything about Hoddle, it's one of the goals that definitely gets shown all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was shown before the game at White Hart Lane for years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mad. Ben Cliff agrees with you, Nigel. That was a cross, not a shot for me.
I've done that sort of dink to the far post for a cross.
Yeah.
And it's ended up going in. But because it was Hoddle, we all knew how Hoddle could score spectacular goals. I think everybody just took it for it was somebody else. I think they'd have gone, that was a miss kick.
Yeah.
But just to say for those who are watching now and watching later on or watching later in the week, if you are at a game, as you can see, some of them are fan camera phone goals that we get through. Send them through, get in touch, get them goals.
I want to see Selby Town on there.
Yeah, no, obviously, we like I say, that first goal was, I think, an under an under 11s or something game, you know, and as long as the parents are happy with it, we'll show.
We all started somewhere. Where did you start, Cally?
I started with a team called Garston Boys.
Oh, right.
I tell you what it was. We got a plot of land to make a football pitch out of. We had to cut the grass. We had to virtually create our own football pitch. And we created this team called Garston Boys. And then I went to a team called Scorpions, and we won virtually everything. But there were some good players come out outside.
So where did you start as a youth then, Steve?
Selby Town. Yeah.
How did you end up at Chelsea then? They come and scout you?
Yeah, I mean, 2 games I played for Selby and a district game. And Dave Sexton always told me that he went by train all the way to Bridlington to watch me in a midweek game. And I didn't play because I was still at school. So I didn't actually play in the game. But
brilliant.
They signed me on the back of a scout. Jack Noble, a guy from Halifax.
Really?
Scout for Chelsea, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And then what? Young at such a young age, pack up sticks and then down to London.
Yeah, I didn't even take all my exams at school.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, my mum weren't very happy, but I wasn't going to turn that down.
No. Well, it springboarded your career anyway.
It did, but I weren't great at Chelsea. I weren't great there. I made far too many mistakes at Chelsea.
What a lot of people don't know was Steve was actually a really good cricketer.
Oh,
he was. I don't know how far you reckon you could have taken that, Steve, but
it
was pretty good, though, wasn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a Yorkshireman, so I love me cricket. So I'd have probably been as happy to play cricket as I would have done football at the time.
Yeah,
but the trouble is, you could hardly, the length of time you had pre-season, you could hardly play cricket. But I did used to play when I went back home. I used to play cricket.
Yeah.
For the 6 weeks we had off, more or less. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any regret on that, or can you?
Part of me does, because I enjoy watching cricket. I still go to Headingley and Scarborough and places to watch Yorkshire. I still follow cricket. Yeah.
Cool.
I've got old school mates who meet up and go to cricket. It's great.
Just having a look at Ben. Ben, you might. I know I say it every week. Please get in touch with me, mate. I really do want you to get on the show because I know you've played football at a reasonable level as well, albeit I think abroad. But you started off at Reebok Rangers, started from the age of 4 up to 15. Had 1 season at Stafford Rangers. Nigel, there you go. So, right. You've got to come on, Ben, because Nigel played with Stafford Rangers for a little while as well. That's as high as I played. 5 league appearances, 3 cup appearances. I made £240 that season. Ben, you got to come on. Please get in touch. I keep asking. Come on, man.
I hated cricket.
Hey?
I hated cricket. I played in the school team. I was in the cricket team at school. I only played it because we got out of school early to go and play these matches. We went to play one. We went to play one school, Grange Hill or something like that. And our opening batsman, he was a county captain. He was really good. And they had this black lad bowling for him. And I'm not kidding you, he started his run up from the boundary. Yeah. by the time he got to the wickets, he was doing about 70 miles an hour. And he's chucked this ball down and it's hit our captain in the nuts. And they stretched him off. Well, we was all drawing straws to see who was going in next. That was it after that. I thought, I'm not having none of this. Grange Park, he was called. I think Grange Park.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not.
So, what we got? 6:45. It's flying by. Quickly going to pop this up, guys. A bit of interesting. It's just a little bit of interest in, and I'm quickly do some funnies, and then we'll finish the show off with the good old days, and we'll get a couple of stories out of the area. That would be good. So let me just bring this up. Another just sort of topical picture here with some data on. This is an interesting one because You can't quite see the bottom there, can you? Ah, man. Right. So as you see, and again, Brentford top in this little league table. This is spending per point. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the interesting one is the crazy, crazy world of Chelsea Football Club and the money that they have absolutely bananas spent. And I've just got to bring that up now. Hang on. Right. Okay. So what you as you look down the table, you can see Brentford at the top there, £1.31 million per point. Look at Brighton. I mean, both them two clubs at the top, really, really doing well.
Yeah.
As you can see, as you head down the bottom, look at the state of Southampton and look how much money they spent. So that's cost them £7.06 million a point. And then you got West Ham there, again, not doing well at all, getting a heavy whopping on Saturday. They've spent 7.48 million. And what I'm going to let me take the banner off the bottom because the real interesting one is this. There you go. Look at that, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Look at that money.
But you talk about Brentford. I mean, Brentford, it's development of players, isn't it? It's, there's something really special about that club, the way they're bringing players on and the improvement they're getting out of their players.
It's like you said, Steve, I'm admiring them more and more.
Yeah.
But the interesting fact there is that's because of how does fair play rules work? Is that a mockery or what?
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea make a mockery of it, don't they?
I mean, they're after Man City at the moment, aren't they? But you look at that with Chelsea, you're thinking that's such a big difference from all the other sides. Surely there's something going on there that ain't right.
How can that be a level playing field? Where does fair play come into this game? I just don't know. And then just saying that, I was going to put this in our funny clips, but I'm just going to quickly bring it up. This is Middlesbrough fans who are renowned for bringing out a bit of a sort of political banner every now and again. And this is the one they brought out on Saturday. Saudi state couldn't execute a trophy win, having a little pop at their neighbours, Newcastle. They're good for that, Middlesbrough fans. They really are. Right. Okay. I'm going to kick straight into the funnies. Shall I do the intro video? No, let's go straight in. Hey, this one's for you, Steve.
Hi, look at that.
Top goalkeeper.
Yeah, go on. Oh, right. Okay. I have got coming up now a cracking little video, right? Now, I'm going to give you some context. This is West Ham fans travelling to Southampton on Saturday, right? They're on the train and they've run out of booze. Now, I'm giving you this intro because the video kicks in. They've run out of booze. Now, one of these guys on there cleverly thought, I'm going to get Uber Eats to deliver a couple of carry bags of booze to the station, the next station, right? And here we go. Watch this.
Just pulling in now at the back of the train.
No, it says platform 5.
Oh, no!
It says 5. It's 5.
Did you check the right platform?
5.
How's it still saying 5?
It's 5. We're on 5. We're on 5.
Platform 5. Platform 5.
Tommy Free.
He's running back over.
Almost in the middle, John White, he'll go over it.
It's either the worst idea or the best idea.
Platform 5, yeah? Platform 5, yeah. We're here now. Platform 5. Where is it?
Hello.
Platform 5. At the back. Where are you?
Run down here, meet him,
They won't hold this train.
He's there.
He's got it! Quick, John!
Come on! He's got it!
Yes, Bob!
That's quality.
That's brilliant.
That is quality. That is absolute. That's the only one I've got today. But that's just. and what it was, what they were panicking because they told him the wrong platform. So you heard them saying, "Oh, he's going to run over him."
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely
Good,
brilliant. Right, look, just a quick one. Let's just what we got. 10-2. Right, before we go into good old days, and we're going to finish the show off on that and get a cut of cracking stories out of you two, I suspect. Let me just let's just have a quick look at what's gone off over the weekend. And I'm saying that, and I'm not prepared at all. Here we go. Okay, so the weekend, folks, we had. Right, let's bring this up. So obviously, we've said enough about what's happened today. Absolute balmy mental. 7-0 it finished. Liverpool, Manchester United. And then Sean Dyche taking his Everton side down to Forest, getting a 2 draw. Is he going to make the difference at Everton? What do you think?
I think, yeah.
Yeah?
There'll certainly be a lot more effort and players coming off the pitch making a difference. I mean, you need luck when you're down there, don't you? I mean,
yeah.
You know, it looked like Bournemouth were going to be lucky, didn't it, yesterday? And they ran out of luck.
Well, yeah. I mean,
extra time, didn't they? You're going to need some luck down there, but I would be surprised if Everton went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah. I do like Sean Dyche.
You find when you're down the bottom of the league that you don't get the luck. You know, like so you know that last minute win, last second winner that Arsenal got yesterday, that could win them the title. But that don't happen to teams when they're down the bottom.
No.
So I think that's just sod's law.
It don't go the other way around, does it? You're right. No,
massive. No. I'm going to flick through some of yesterday's results down through the leagues quickly. I'll just pick out a couple from each. Obviously, Man City getting that 2-0 win over Newcastle. I can't see Newcastle getting top 4 myself. I think they've done really well, and they are going to be forced to be reckoned with moving forward with the money they got. But I'll tell you what, Brighton getting that 4-0 win, fantastic season there. Tottenham losing away, Wolverhampton, mate. Tottenham, it's like
what about the Wolves manager? Wolves manager looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, how he changes his team round at half time, and he seems to know what he's doing, that guy, I think.
Yeah, cracking win there on Saturday without a doubt.
Yeah. Goes back to what we said though, Gaz, about the fact that, you know, they've dropped players for the cup match.
Yeah, and then look at this.
But they can't even beat Wolves. They can't even beat Wolves. So, like, you know, they must have some insight that they're actually guaranteed 4th place.
You've got to feel for Tottenham fans to some degree, haven't you? Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, it's painful. It must be painful being a Tottenham fan.
Nearly side. It's always so nearly, but always, you know, even when Leicester
we used to love playing against Tottenham, guys. Well, back in the days, we used to love playing against Tottenham. We used to smash them at White Hart Lane all the time.
Yeah, I was 5-0 once, wasn't it? But then they watched us 5-0, I think. Yeah. But I see Southampton getting a massive result against Leicester. We're just saying about Leicester winning the league there, but Leicester, the rails come off there a bit now, haven't they? But that's a massive win for Southampton after, like you were saying earlier, Steve, such a poor performance in the cup against Grimsby.
Yeah.
Massive win. Just having a quick look down there. We've said it already, Stoke, an unbelievable win. 5-1 at Sunderland. Middlesbrough they're looking good this year. Middlesbrough 5-0 against Reading. They are looking good, mate. They are looking good. Just they're
looking over their shoulders now.
Yeah, Luton getting another 1-0 win there. You know, that fella's gone in.
You can't mention that. You can't mention that.
I said.
Oh no, we have to be. We have to not.
I said a few weeks ago, Gaz, when Watford had them big 4 matches coming up, and everyone's saying Watford are 4th still, but I said a few weeks ago, you've got to look at the size below them and above them. Yeah. They all had 1 or 2 games in hand, and now look where they are. They're 9th now, 51 points, 4th of Norwich. You know, I can't see it happening now. I can't even see it getting else.
Blackburn getting a 1-0 win at Sheffield against Sheffield United at Blackburn.
Yeah,
They're having a cracking season, Blackburn. Plymouth flying still with a 2-0 win over Charlton. Ipswich getting a smashing 4-0 win over Burton. Then both them clubs looking good. Your old boys Derby 2-2 against Shrewsbury.
Oh, threw it away.
A little bit. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday as well. That's going to be a good finish into that league, and all, isn't it? There's a few sides vying for it there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And then down there, Northampton getting a 1-0 win, keeping their challenge up. Leyton Orient getting 1-1. What else we got there? Just pulling out a couple. Down International League. So interesting one there, because earlier in the day, Notts County drew. Now we know Notts County Wrexham are having a right ding dong for that automatic spot. You know.
Did you see the interview with the Notts County player on? I think it was on Grandstand or Football Focus.
No.
Apparently, I mean, he's been scoring goals for fun, but apparently, like once he scored 2 goals in a game, that the next chance he gets to get a hat trick, if he don't get a hat trick, the manager takes him off. Not because he's playing badly, but to protect him from.
I can't remember his name now, but I think he's just been picked for the England Seaside. You know, the non-league players. And I'm hearing Notts County have been playing some fantastic football this year. I know all the focus is on the Hollywood boys at Wrexham, but I've heard Notts County been playing some amazing football. And like I say, they drew 1-1 at Bromley, giving Wrexham a great chance. And then Wrexham drew Maidenhead 2-2 in the later kickoff game. So that they missed a bit out there. And then there's 2 sides. Spennymoor Town getting, this is now National League North. Spennymoor Town getting a 2-1 win over Chorley. And they are pushing all the way with Moneybags Kings Lynn, who got a 3-2 win over Scarborough Athletic. Scarborough Athletic being the Phoenix
the team
club.
Come back from the dead.
Come back from the dead. You got it. Come back from the dead. The old Scarborough Football Club, now as Scarborough Athletic, and they are in the National League North. But Kings Lynn are the big money side in that league, without a doubt. Down just quickly into South, some biggish games down there. Our friends at Chippenham Town, their commercial finance manager has been on our show a few times. They got a 2-2 draw against Concord. And Weymouth getting a 3-1 win. I like Weymouth, but they've had a horrendous time dropping out of the National League and really having a bad time in the National League South. But they got a 3-1 win over Dartford, which is pretty good. Good for that. So and we'll wrap that up and move on to the good old days. I'm going to do the intro to that, though. Let's do that.
It's all over. It is now. It's 4. And Charlton.
There you go. We have to get the picture in with him holding that under-21 World Cup. You know. Right, gentlemen. Go on, Cally. You kick
I'll let Steve start it off. He wants to have a few stories.
Yeah. Steve,
I'll go back to before I made my debut, because I was at Chelsea, and they used to let us go home at Christmas. They had Peter Bonetti in front of me, and then John Phillips, who was a Welsh international. So I've gone home for Christmas. Peter Bonetti gets injured in the game before Christmas, and John Phillips wakes up on the Saturday of the game against Ipswich Town with Bobby Robson as manager of Ipswich Town. With a back spasm. So I'm up in Selby in Yorkshire the day of the game. So Jack Noble, who was the scout who recommended me to Chelsea, takes me down by car, picks me up in the morning, takes me down by car. Thick fog, all from about Northampton to London. Bobby Robson gives me till 2:45 to actually make it to play. I get there at 10 to, so I missed the game and watched the game in the stands. David Webb's in goal. 2 shots to save all the game, and Chelsea comfortably beat Ipswich 2-0. Next week, luckily enough, I met my debut at Derby County, at Derby. Brian Clough manager. To win the league that year, I think it's 71-72. I think Derby won the league that year. Kept keeping a clean sheet. I think it was 85th minute. Shot comes in, deflected past me for an own goal. Who do you think deflected it past me? David Webb. So we lose 1-0 at Derby, and I'm in the bath after the game, feeling great really because I've made a debut, done okay, and David Webb says, "I'm in goal next week, Steve. I kept a clean sheet, you didn't." So it was said in tongue in cheek. We lost the game, obviously. We're all disappointed, but it was an amazing situation, really, in a way. Yeah.
Do you know, it's easy when you move clubs. I mean, when I moved from Watford to Derby, it all happens quickly, and everybody thinks that you go out, you play another match, and it's easy. It's not. It's actually quite stressful when you've been at a club so long and then you move. Yeah. And I'll go back to this is a lad called Richard Jobson, played for Watford, and he got transferred to Hull from Watford. And he'd gone up there, trained in a few days. They've got the match on Saturday. They've gone to the hotel for pre-match meal. All the players left the hotel and went to the ground to get changed. Jobbo got in his car and drove back to Watford. And, he just said, I couldn't go through with it. But he'd signed for him, and he
just couldn't do it.
Drove back to Watford.
I never knew that, Kelly.
Yeah, he went back to Hull after that, but they couldn't find him. He never turned up at the ground.
Wow.
It just it isn't easy. I mean, I found it really strange when I went back to Watford. I nearly went into the home dressing room instead of the away one. Yeah. It's when you've been at a club for so long, it's not easy just moving to another club, whether it's in England, whether it's abroad. And I think a lot of people don't realise that it's not that easy.
Yeah. Wow. How did you find your move from Watford to Grimsby then?
Oh, it was horrendous. Because Grimsby, the situation at Grimsby was Mike Lyons got sacked in the July. So if you can imagine that, half the players were out of contract, no manager to renegotiate contracts, so most of them left. Now I was, Alan Hodgkinson, who was goalkeeping coach to me, says, go to Grimsby. I had Grimsby or Ipswich. Ipswich, I wasn't guaranteed a first team place, but Grimsby, I was told by Mike Lyons I'd be, the first team keeper. So went on holiday at Portugal, picked the newspaper up, Mike Lyons sacked. So I'm thinking, oh God, I haven't got a club to go to. I'm on holiday now. 2 weeks before pre-season starts.
Shirley, did you have any favourite grounds that you always used to do well at? Like there's some of the grounds that you didn't do well at.
Well, funny enough, at Griffin Park. I mean, I played. That was so lucky for me, that place. When I went there, Brentford and that, and I used to enjoy playing at Blackburn Rovers, Ewood Park as well.
Yeah.
But on the negative side, there was Carrow Road, where I don't think I ever had a good game at.
Yeah, that was
it was a nightmare.
Hard ground to go win at, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for us. It seemed to be, for some reason.
Well, I
mean, I've said to you before. I mean, I played for Derby, Watford, and Villa, and but all them 3 teams that I've played football for, I've never once gone to Anfield or Goodison and won a match. Yeah. Not once with all them teams. So, sort of, it's great playing at Anfield and Goodison, but they were bogey grounds for me. I just never couldn't get a win there. whatever club I played for, we never beat them away from home.
No, I don't think we did, Callie. I don't think I ever won at Anfield.
I mean, remember that game against Liverpool? I think we was something like 2-0 up at half time, and Graham Taylor said, "Just keep playing the way you are, and they're going to have to be something special to beat you." And they came back and they went 2-2, and then I think we went 3-2 up, and they ended up beating us 4-3 at Anfield.
Yeah.
Was you in that game? You were on that game, weren't you, Steve?
I think I played in that game, yeah.
Dalglish and Rush, weren't it?
Yeah, they were amazing. They were empty.
I will, folks who are putting comments in, I will come to your comments. Don't worry, and catch up with all those there. The one comment that's just come through relevant to this is: any of you guys play at the old Stoke ground, Victoria Park?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. I think I played there with Grimsby, and we got promoted just by drawing a game there, 0-0. Yeah. So that's a nice memory, because I remember going out to our fans after the game, and they were all jumping up and down like mad. But yeah,
I tell you what I remember about the Victoria ground. Remember when Brian Talbot joined the club?
Yeah.
So we got out into the centre circle before the match, and we stood in the centre circle, and the Watford fans are going, "Barnsley, give us away, Barnsley, give us." So he's like that, all right, Cally, give us away. You put your hands up. And then they come to Brian Talbot and they went, Brian, give us away. And he just went, hello. And Brian just go,
he was a funny guy, Brian.
I can't hear you. Yeah, I remember that.
Brilliant.
Right.
Oh, brilliant. Let's just catch up on a few of the comments that have come in. I find it, it's a good point. I find it amazing. Thing I find amazing is everybody going on about how good a season Newcastle are having, but nobody's talking about Fulham.
Oh,
being 3 points behind them. He says, I think, when they got promoted this season, my team of the season so far. It's a good point. I think, again, I think our attention swings to we're at fault with some of the moaning we do about money in football, and then you focus on the clubs that have got all the money, don't you? You naturally look at them as an elite club. You're absolutely right, Ben. Fulham, and I think again the underdog not being mentioned, but fair.
Well, you wouldn't have picked Fulham and Brentford to be in the top half of the table, would you?
No, and like we were saying, if you look at that table I put up with the pounds per point, they're at the top of that for spending the least money as well. So fair play.
If you look at Brighton, though, they've got 2 games in hand on Liverpool. If they win them 2 games in hand, they go above Liverpool.
Brighton are having an astonishing season. Ben Higgins, good evening, mate. Tottenham fans, we're used to it. Smiley, laughy faces.
They've got 3 games in hand on Tottenham.
Yeah.
So if they won their games in hand on Tottenham, they'd be 4th place, Brighton.
Macclesfield FC are guaranteed the playoffs in the I can't remember what league they're in, Ben, the same league as Kidsgrove, but they are guaranteed a playoff at minimum already. But they're big money, Macclesfield, big money club, getting 3,500 fans in tier 6, is it? Anyway, Cardinals, Grimsby, fantastic fans. Do you know what I had? Do you know I've not uploaded it. I had a video of them at Southampton waving the old fish about and that, and the atmosphere at Southampton was phenomenal. And I love it because it really does tell you that the FA Cup is still as important as it was back then, but to the lower clubs and their fans. The elite clubs maybe not so much, but the FA Cup still does, as much as we say it ain't got the same feel, and it hasn't.
Well, again, we talked about the fact that they were trying to make the FA Cup a one-match competition, like no replays or anything like that.
Yeah.
But look at the amazing day out. That'll be a memorable day for every Grimsby fan that went to Southampton that day. They'll be talking about that for ages. So that's what the FA Cup creates.
Yeah. And the Ariadics. Don't forget the Ariadics.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. I was so pleased that they did it. And Yeah, you're right. They've got a hell of a task going to Brighton. But you know what? They'll take 5,000 fans down there and they'll have a terrific day out, a terrific day out by the seaside as well. Let's hope there's a bit of sunshine for them because, great place to go and watch and celebrate your football. As Sally got a swimming pool, it looks like there is one behind him. Oh, sorry, Cally, he meant. So I'm going to call you Sally from now on, I think. Well, he has got a swimming pool behind him, but it's fictitious. Unless he wants to demonstrate and go and jump in it for us right now, I can't see him doing that. Northern Premier League West, 8th tier. Steve, you probably don't know this. We quite often we are critical of modern day football a lot of the time, and Macclesfield have got players, particularly one player we know of, that's on almost £3,000 a week in tier 8. In tier 8 of mad. Right.
Well, Selby Towns League, they've got an Italian international in one of the teams in that, Beverley Town. They've got an ex-Italian international playing for it, but
I think I've DJ'd up in there, Selby, Steve.
Yeah.
I think they've got a pop world up there. I went up there to do a few weeks. Pop world back beyond, didn't it, up there?
Yeah.
Well, look.
Beautiful Abbey up there if you ever want to visit Selby. Beautiful place, the Abbey. Selby Abbey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, well, look, we're at an end. We have run over again, but we are running over quite regularly now, Nigel. I think it's because we don't want to miss a lot of what we do. Steve, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always enjoy it.
Yeah, and maybe consider coming on again at some point. We'd love to have you back.
Don't mind at all.
Yeah, and we'd get you normally have 4 of us on, but
anything for Cally. He's a great lad.
Oh, bless.
You have to wear your red shirt next time.
It isn't goodbye to Steve.
My son's got it. I can't get anywhere near it.
So certainly not goodbye. And definitely their week. Oh yeah, just a quick one Macclesfield's weekly wage bill is £14,000 a week. Is their wage bill. Kidsgrove in the same league is 2,200.
Yeah.
Again, unlevel playing fields. But you know what, Steve? We'll talk about this another time when you're on, and we'll dig into it deeper. But look, I'm going to give last words then, Nigel.
Yeah, I'll be on Mixcloud about 9 o'clock.
Let's get that up. Hang on.
Yeah, no, it's been great catching up with you, Steve. Last time I saw you was at the Sunderland game, wasn't it, Watford?
Yeah.
Do come on again.
I will do.
Yeah, it's been really good having you on, mate. Yeah,
it's been great talking. It's always great talking about them days.
And
we were blessed. We were blessed with them days.
When you come on again, we've done the bit of hi, this is Steve, his career. Next time you come on, you're just one of us, and we just talk about everything and anything.
Yeah.
We do talk some bollocks at times as well, but there we are.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
But it's been an absolute pleasure. Last words from you then, Steve.
Well, whatever happens in the games between now and the end of the season, there'll be plenty of excitement and ups and downs because that's what football's all about.
Yeah.
It's never black and white.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Last words from me, people. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please, again, let everyone know about us and share and tell people. Whoop, that's me dropping something. And join us again next week, 6 o'clock. So it's goodbye from all of us tonight. Be safe. Have a really lovely week, everybody. And we'll catch you all again next week. I know me and Cally are planning to do an Under the Floodlights. If we do squeeze it out this week, I'll let you know. But I don't know whether to do that live or whether to do that as a pre-record. I'll make a decision on that and we'll let you know. But keep an eye out for that. We're going to dig into Cally's career. Absolute, from start to finish. And when I say career, I also mean the DJing element.
Yeah.
You know, what stays in Marbella and all that. Yeah, we're going to dig into all that with Nigel and find out a lot more. Right, okay, so we're going to say goodbye now. If I can find our closing video, there we are. Have a safe week, everybody, and keep an eye on our platforms. Lots and lots of great stories. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
The Proper Football Live Show, Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and PF Radio. Check out